morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. So today we're here at the Playground podcast. Playground is a community hub where students can have their own idea and start it up, scale it, and grow it into a company with the help of Playground. And we're here today with the co-founder.
With Simon, the co-founder of ModelMatic. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you
for having me.
Can you introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. So my name's Simon. I'm 24 and I'm actually still studying at Utrecht University. And I've started. I'm a co-founder of ModelMatic. I'm focused on the commercial side. And I've been doing this for 2 years, and Playground has helped me from actually the very start. So I think we were their second, student group actually being aided by them. So they've definitely been at the start of our company. So it's been really valuable.
Hey, that sounds interesting. Let's dive into some more questions that we might have.
Sure.
How did you know that the idea that you had in the beginning would be developed into business?
Right. Well, I think to start off, I actually experienced the problem we're solving firsthand. I worked at a company after graduating with my bachelor's, and I found out, this problem, and I was experiencing. I won't go too much into detail because it's quite technical, but lots of manual documentation, so mapping out current situations. And I mapped this. I experienced this problem firsthand. So fast forward a year later. There was this whole AI wave. Everyone wanted to do everything with AI, and we thought, hey, let's do something, boots on the ground. So something that's really valuable for people. So we basically got together and we started brainstorming for a course, science-based entrepreneurship. And this course basically guides you towards, creating your own business. And it was really valuable actually because you don't have to do any exams. It's very practical oriented, which is quite unique, I think, in a university setting. So we started with the idea and we built it on from that point forwards. So after the course, we thought, wow, this idea really has some viability. Let's go further and further. Yeah.
And was it already the three of you because you're three co-founders?
Well, actually, it started with the four of us, and then it ended up with the three of us now. From this point onwards. We also have an intern, and another person that's
we're growing,
working hard. Yeah, so
already hiring.
the team of 5 now, so really happy with that. Yeah.
But for those who don't know ModelMatic, so how could you describe it a little? What is ModelMatic, and what are you guys actually doing?
Yeah, sure. We automate documentation for business analysts and business consultants, and I think I'd like to explain it with an analog, with a little story. So. Imagine you're at home and your pipes are leaking. So there's water everywhere. So what do? You call in a plumber. That plumber then, comes to your house. But first they have to map out the current situation. Where do all the pipes go and where's everything connected to? So they spend like 3 hours just researching. And you're just sitting there like, hey, I have this big problem. Please solve it for me. But before they can do anything, they have to map out the current situation. And from that current situation, they now know where the problem is and how to solve it. And this seems very inefficient, but this is how the average business analyst works. So let's say there's a huge problem within a company. They first have to map out the current situation. So how do the current processes work? How do the business processes work? They do this by manually mapping out. So asking questions, like literally going to all these different stakeholders, all these different people experiencing, this problem. Like, hey, how does your work look like? So what do you do when you first go into work? You open your laptop, all these things, they write down the notes, and then they map out a business process model, which is basically a flowchart. So it's basically a schematic overview of all the work that's being done. And once they have the overview, they can now actually start solving the problem. But mapping that bit out, it takes 12 hours on average weekly. So they spend 12 hours a week doing those things, and we automate that. So from those conversations, we automatically create those business process models. So it saves them a tremendous amount of time. And mapping out the current situation, it's not the most fun job, right? Yeah. The fun is in creativity and finding a solution to a big problem. So we're allowing them to get faster to that fun part, and we're doing the boring part for them.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
actually.
Ooh, super interesting. At the beginning, what did you think about like how ModelMatic would become, and how wrong were you?
Very. At the start, I had no clue where this could go, and I'd like to say, we're still in a quite early stage. We have the first few customers, and we're building traction. And like I just said, we're now a team of 5. We have an intern, so we're slowly growing, but we're definitely not still there yet. Where I would say, wow, we're so successful or something. But yeah, where I thought it would go, I think the first 6 or 9 months, I was thinking, okay, 3 more months and then we'll probably fail, but we'll just continue. We'll keep going.
Really?
We'll keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that goes into everyone's mind when, they start up with an idea and they try to develop it into the company. No one actually knows if it will go, if it will succeed and if it will
Absolutely.
grow and if you will find customers, if you will find people to grow. So yeah, it's a scary place to be an entrepreneur, I think, and start up your own company.
Yeah.
But I think if you keep trying and if you keep going at it and if you actually want it, at some point it will happen.
I think so too. And what really helped for me is to compartmentalize it. So I thought, okay, let's just get to this first customer and then we'll see, It's not like we didn't have a plan for the second customer, but instead of making things like very huge in my head, like, wow, we have to get to 100,000 annual recurring revenue, and how do I get there? No, let's start with 1,000 and then we'll build our way up from there. And I think that really helped to make the task feel less daunting. It can be quite daunting to start a company, but if you start small and just make some progress every week or every day or every month even, I think you'll slowly get there.
Yeah, I think also entrepreneurship is really within doing everything with baby steps. And yeah, because I was also curious, because how long are you building right now with your co-founders?
Yeah, so our company was first founded, legally founded in November last year. Or well, it's 2026 now, so I guess I have to say 2 years ago. So 2024 November. That's when we were incorporated, and then it's actually when the idea really started gaining traction, and we thought, okay, we need to have a legal entity instead of just doing everything ourselves. So it really started gaining traction from there. We started to do a pilot with a big potential customer, and we basically built forwards from there on. But the first idea was actually in February that same year, so 2024. I would say from February to November it was quite slow. Yes, we did work in the summer, but everyone also had a few plans, and we never really meant for this to become our almost full-time jobs. So we slowly got there. Yeah.
But for someone that has no idea where to start, let's say he has an idea, he has no one to help him, he has no, let's say, friends that are believing in the idea and want to help him out. What should that person do? Let's say you're in his shoes and you have no idea what to do. You've heard of Playground, you've heard of Utrecht thing, you hear a lot of places.
I was about to say, go to Playground. Just go to Playground and start talking with people, start having a conversation with the coaches and the mentors that are there to help you. Even if it's just a random idea, like you thought about it one night in the shower or something, you're like, wow, I should explore this. I think that's really important to know, that you don't have to have a fully validated idea. Like, you shouldn't have this $1 billion idea and then go to Playground. No, just start exploring. There are many people there to help you, and that's also what really helped us. Having conversations with our coach, and then we got coupled to a mentor, which is a really valuable person for us, and he really guided us a big part of the way. And that mentor then has a network, and he introduces his network to us, and then you start getting the snowball effect. Just start small, go to Playground, and start exploring. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so what was the hardest assumption you had to let go of building in the first year?
I think the hardest assumption, or the biggest faulty assumption we made, these analysts are having conversations with stakeholders, so people that perform the day-to-day work. And we thought, let's replace those analysts. Let's get those stakeholders to talk with an AI of ours, and let's gather data from that point onwards. And then actually when we started validating, so we started talking obviously with those analysts, but also with those stakeholders, and they both said, whoa, that's a terrible idea.
Because people are going to lose jobs, I guess.
People are going to lose jobs.
But that's the new wave of AI, like things are changing and you either adapt with it or you're falling behind. It's either,
True. Yeah, I think, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, I think everyone knows his quote, it's either you won't be replaced by AI, but you will be replaced by somebody that uses AI. Sorry. And I think that's that's a big assumption we made. We thought, let's replace those analysts, at least in the first part, in the heavy lifting of creating manually those process models. And then we found out, no, lots of the magic actually happens in those first conversations. So it's not just the data and the insights you gain from those conversations, but also how a stakeholder handles themselves. Are they sitting with their arms crossed over each other? Maybe they're not too happy about their work, and why is that? And there's maybe a bigger cultural shift happening in, let's say, the hospital or whatever organization the business analyst is placed in. So this was quite a big assumption. So we had to rethink our whole business model. So we thought, we're not going to replace them, but okay, we're going to aid them. We're going to help them with automating a boring part of their work. And then we had to thought, okay, but a business analyst, they're hired externally, right? So they get paid by the hour. So if you're getting paid 150 euros an hour, and instead of taking 8 hours, you can now do something in 5 hours. You wouldn't take that because you get less money, right? So we also had to rethink that whole business proposition. So this was a big assumption we made, and we had to let that one go.
And what was like a mistake that you made earlier that still affects the decision that you made today?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is actually going to the notary. And we thought we need to be incorporated. So we needed to have a BV, which is a Dutch incorporation. And we just thought, okay, we need to do that. And the notary will advise us. And we said we want it as cheap as possible,
because you don't know if we will work,
Exactly.
So you don't have no revenue to coming in. And
exactly.
You're just still a student, maybe. You don't have money.
Yeah, spending 3,000 euros or something. Like, wow, that's
it's
expensive, So we thought, let's just start with one. And this was actually a big mistake we made. Because in order to be incorporated and have a valid structure, you actually need a holding company as well, and then personal holding companies. So you need to make this kind of whole Christmas tree. And we didn't do that at the start. And around February or March, we found out, wow, we really need to actually do it properly instead of doing the cheap student way.
But can you do that afterwards? I mean, can you start off cheap and student-wise, but then once you have your first client, when you have the first customer, the first money flowing in, then maybe you can take the other path?
This is what we did, but notaries are very expensive, and it's easier to do something the right way the first time instead of having to fix a current structure. So it was definitely possible. Everything is possible. It just
takes more time and more effort and
costs us more money. Yeah. Man, the notary, I called him up for a quick question, like 5 or 6 minutes, and then he spent like 5 minutes typing an email, and then we get a bill, and this guy is paid like 300 euros an hour, and like 12 minutes. I should have Googled that,
Wow.
So this was.
Good thing to know, though.
Notaries can be expensive, but they're definitely necessary.
Yeah, the legal stuff.
Yeah. So, the overarching lesson we learned from that is to not make decisions too quickly and to always talk to 1 or 2 experts on it before you make a big decision. So what we should have done is talk with one of the many startup founders that are either at Playground or Utrecht Inc. We should have asked them, like, hey, we're looking to incorporate it. How does this work? Do you have any tips for us? And from that point onwards, we would have been better informed, and we would have saved quite a bunch of money.
Based on that, I have one more question. Like in the beginning of the startup, let's say, you would probably get stuck in both the idea and execution and stuff. How would you deal with it? Like, how would you, let's say, how many times per week would you meet with your friends to discuss a potential problem? How would Playground coming and help you solve something? What was like a weekly type thing of working on it?
Yeah, so the typical day-to-day decisions we needed to make that might have been, things that we're stuck on. We always met 2 times a week, so always in the mornings we did a weekly start on Monday, and then on Thursdays we also did like a closing down. So okay, how did everything go? What were the challenges and how can we overcome them? So those were the typical day-to-day operations, but I wouldn't say necessarily we were like stuck, with the things that we really couldn't get out of. That's where Playground really helped, and especially the mentors. So Stijn is one of our coaches. He works at Playground, and he's an amazing human being. And he helped us a lot with things we were getting stuck on. So whether that's finding this one client that never responds but could be very important for us, like how do we reach them? And we started brainstorming, like, okay, we maybe have an entrance via this way, or we could do something another way. Start brainstorming, and I think it definitely helps the atmosphere that is created in Playground. It's okay to fail, and it's okay to be stuck on things, but there's always a way. You always find a solution. I think that mindset really trickled down to also our mindset.
But a lot of people are scared of failing, because they were not taught to fail.
Fail fast and fail early, I think, is one of the best advice. At least, there are all these...
But it's hard, Yeah,
I mean, definitely.
When you were taught that if you fail, you're, like a failure or something, you're scared of it. And you're like, okay, shit, if I try this and if I try to make my own company, what if I fail, And then everyone would think,
what if it worked?
Yeah, definitely in the Netherlands, or I'm not sure how it is.
I think in Europe in
Greece,
general.
In Europe in general, you start a company and then family members like 6 months later, like, oh, how's it going with your little company? Oh,
Are you making any money yet?
No, mom.
Not yet.
But soon. No. There's definitely a stigma around failing, but I also found that definitely amongst founders, it's way less. It's like, oh, you failed 3 times. Wow, you must be very knowledgeable now, and the 4th time you will succeed. Instead of thinking, wow, I've been a failure 3 times. Look on the bright side. I think amongst entrepreneurs, that's really the mindset. But maybe with family members and in your personal life, it's less so.
I've learned. Like I think last week that the founder of Dyson, he failed 45 times, more than 40 at least. So it's quite a lot. If you ask me about,
And then you start making vacuum cleaners, and you become a millionaire. Yeah.
Insane. We talked a bit about failures. Can you tell us about your first success with ModelMatic, and how did you celebrate it?
Yeah, good question. I think our first success was definitely landing this big pilot journey with a very big consultant. So it's this huge consultant that has offices in almost every country, and we actually got introduced via one of our mentors, so his network, which was really valuable. So we went there in Amsterdam at the Zuidas. We went to the big office floor, and
the whole team and everything.
The whole team. I think one person wasn't there, so 3 of us. It was November 2024. So
you remember the day?
Yes, definitely. We're starting off, and I know you were asking about one of the successes, but actually it started with kind of a failure, in my opinion. We went there and we did a pitch to one of the very senior level management. So we pitched our idea, and it was horrible. We showed them a live demo with loading screens. We're sitting there like waiting for 3 minutes, and they looked at us like,
What are they doing? Yeah.
My time is valuable,
Yeah.
So
like
so
they were
they're-
senior level, like mid 40s, I assume.
yeah, like
Age-wise.
40s, 50s.
Yeah.
Very busy, working 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
And we're just wasting their time. So they were grilling us like, okay, but what are you actually doing? And instead of explaining what we're doing, we should have explained the applicability of things. So instead of, hey, I have this watch and it's really valuable because the clockwork in it is so detailed and blah blah blah. No, nobody cares about that. But I have this watch, and if I give this to your employees, they will come on time and they will never be late because they know the time. That's something we should have said. But instead, we're just so happy about explaining what the watch is instead of explaining the benefits and the applicability of it.
So basically, when you approach, you have to sell it, your customer.
Yeah.
You have to find another way on, how to sell, basically. Because, like you said, it's not just, hey, I have a watch. Look at it, how shiny it is. But how it actually works and how you can use it and make your life better and easier.
Yeah, you have to crawl into the mind of your user or your audience. Who's your audience, But yeah, to circle back to your question about the biggest success, I think, when we were walking away from that, it was so hot in that room. I had we thought we were grilled, we're done. And then afterwards, actually, a week later, they contacted us again, and they thought, let's explore this further. We're so happy about, stoked. So we started exploring that further, and now we're fully onboarded as a supplier. So it took us, I think, a year before we actually, we're fully onboarded as a supplier. But now we're there, and we're really happy about that. So we celebrated that definitely,
Wow.
because it's a very, very big opportunity for us. But it started off with a failure, and we got together and we thought, okay, how can we make sure this never happens again?
Yeah.
So fail fast and fail early.
But I can imagine, like, what was the turning point for the company that wanted to work with you then?
Yeah, I think what really helped was we sent them the slides afterwards, and we changed those slides more towards applicability and benefits. So we kind of gave them what they wanted initially. I think this really helped, and also I think our mentor kind of pulled some strings, and he did a good word for us. So he called her up afterwards, like, "Hey, it's the first time they're doing this, but
Give them another chance.
Yeah, you get the idea, right?" And so,
Wow. Good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. So network was really valuable for us, it all happened via Playground.
But do you think, this might be kind of random question, but do you think that now we're talking about AI, but do you think that it could be replaced at some point? Like, jobs might be replaced, maybe companies also, like, who knows?
You definitely see a shift within consultancy because, like I said, consultancy, they get paid by the hour. And there was this big scandal. I think Deloitte in Australia, they did a report with the Australian government, and they found out that some sources were made up by AI. So, imagine you're the Australian government and you pay like hundreds of thousands to make this big fancy report by Deloitte, and you find out it's generated by AI. I could have done that. I could have typed some things in ChatGPT, and obviously it's not that they fully made it with AI. But so you already see some shift happening that consultants are using AI and they're becoming more efficient. And you also see those big companies.
Everyone is using it, even doctors, trust me.
and they see the trend, right?
Yeah,
they see that it's happening and that AI is replacing some of their work. So they definitely see the trend, and it's definitely already happening that loads of consultants, definitely the junior management or junior positions, the boring, simple work is being done by AI instead of being done by them. So it's already happening. We're definitely in a shift. Even last year talking to consultancy, they thought, oh, AI, we're not using it yet. Maybe some smaller consultants here around Utrecht or in different cities. And now once I'm talking to consultants, they're like, yeah, we really need to use AI. So please let me have your software. So it's there's already a shift definitely in the last year. Yeah.
I have a question because you started when you were a student still. I
I'm
believe.
still studying.
Okay. So that's super interesting. How are you combining your student life with building a startup, building your company?
Mm-hmm.
How do you combine it?
Yeah, good question. I'm trying to find synergy where I can. I'm pursuing the master business informatics. So, it's the cutting edge of business and IT, which is also where lots of business analysts are. So, where I'm trying to find synergy is, for example, we received a guest lecture from actually this consultant. So I came up to him. I'm like, hey, very interesting, and I'm building something that you might find interesting as well. And he thought, oh, okay, let's talk. So actually, from my studies, I've also found some benefits from ModelMatic. Then currently, I'm writing my thesis, and I'm doing my thesis about business to business software startup customer acquisition. So how to gain customers efficiently, which is also something that
will help you. Yeah,
definitely will help me with my studies, with my job with ModelMatic. So trying to find synergy where I can. But having said that, I'm definitely having some study delays just because I thought, okay, I'm following one course instead of two, so I'm doing half of the study load, and the rest of the days I'm just working for ModelMatic. And I thought, wow, I'm learning so much from actually pursuing this. I'm totally fine getting some study delays and going for an extra master year, just because I'm learning so much with ModelMatic. So trying to find synergy where I can, but it's definitely also an illusion that you can combine fully working for a startup and also fully studying for two courses.
Yeah, and also I can imagine like the student life, going out with friends. Is that still a thing, or are you only focused on studying and building your business?
I think for me, it's also really important to wind down. So the weekends are definitely
to relax.
A part of that.
Yeah, you have to. Your brain otherwise is gonna explode. Studying, going for the business, and then try to find clients, building up, finding maybe internships. It's quite a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, but I'm definitely trying to wind down in the weekends. No, but I don't go out a lot anymore. And for example, yesterday on a Sunday, I was working for 4 hours trying to find out the world of corporate insurance, which is very difficult if you don't know anything about it. But so those, I definitely still work a bit here and there in the weekends. Definitely if there's something important that needs to get done. But Fridays in the evening and Saturdays are usually for winding down and relaxing. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
You have a closing question?
Yes, I have a closing question.
Okay, wait, let me get mine and then you
yes.
close with that. So I want you to describe, let's say, a decision that you made in the first few months on the startup idea that you thought it was brilliant and you would help a lot the team, but it ended up costing either time or money, or costing instead of gaining. So that people won't make maybe potentially the same mistake,
Yeah, good question.
It could be not you, it could be some team member or someone.
Yeah, because we're building software. I wouldn't say this was a mistake because it was actually quite good that we did this, but it is. Yeah, so we're building software, right? So the faster you get something done, the quicker you can show it to a client, and you can potentially gain value, right? Your software becomes more valuable for each new feature and each new thing you add. And there's always this trade-off between, okay, let's do something properly and maybe it takes 3 weeks, but then we have something stable and it can really build. We can build from that. So we have a very strong fundamentals. There's always that trade-off between, okay, I can build it in a few days and I can already show it to a customer, and maybe next week they're paying for our software because we already built this. So this was a quite difficult balance and trade-off. And I think in the first bit, we kind of sometimes chose speed over doing it properly, and it ended up costing us way more time and way more effort.
So slow, it's fast, huh? Slow and smooth.
I would
it's
say
actually
so.
Fast.
I would say so. Yeah, definitely. Try to figure out, have a plan for when things want to scale. For example, and this is specifically not only for software, but also your systems. So how you do sales, for example. Just don't spend hours thinking about it, but just on one day, schedule an hour together, a meeting, and say, okay, how potentially, let's say we have 100 users, how would this scale? And if the answer is, well, it can't, then maybe you should rethink it.
Good.
Okay, the closing question. What is the most honest advice you can give to students when they really want to start their business?
Good one.
Yeah.
So be really, really brutally honest.
I would say don't overthink it. Many students and just many people in general can be so inside their heads, like, oh, how can I start a business, and I don't even know how to do sales and talk to people, and where do I get my target audience, blah blah blah. There's all these things that you can worry about, and just the thought of worrying can make you never start that business. So I would actually just say, shut your mind off and just
go.
just be a bit dumber than you actually are, and just start doing it. Instead of making it such a daunting task in your head.
But at the same time, no one knows everything. You're gonna have to figure out stuff on the way you're going at it. So you don't have to be extra all-knowing and all smart to build something.
Definitely, I think the to be a founder, you don't have to be brilliant. You just have to be resilient and not give up, and just continually building. And you fall on your face, that's fine. But as soon as you get up, and you don't make it too much of a big deal and problem in your head. I think there are many examples of companies that have founders that aren't these brilliant. They're not the smartest people, but they're experienced, because you can only experience. And I think that's the most important part. Just start experiencing, and those benefits will start to cascade and pay themselves back.
Great, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming over and letting us know of your experiences and of your process with ModelMatic. And for everyone, if you have any idea that you would like to start up and scale up, and it could be a dumb idea as well. You never know where it could take you. You should reach out to Playground, and they can take you by the hand and help you grow.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.